Good evening, my weary academics, and welcome to History to Sleep By, where we nerd out and conk out. If you enjoy calm, narrated history documentaries, or just need a reliable friend to help with restless nights, please subscribe, leave a like, and maybe share a comment about what's happening in your life. That way you'll always find your way back to us. Now, let's begin tonight's journey. In the winter of 1777, the landscape of the American Revolution was painted with the chill of uncertainty. The Continental Army, led by General George Washington, faced one of its most challenging trials. Valley Forge, a name that would echo through history, became the setting for a story of endurance and transformation. Tucked away in the gently rolling hills of Pennsylvania, Valley Forge offered a strategic position, yet it was far from a haven. The winter was harsh and the resources scarce. As the army settled into this temporary encampment, the biting cold settled into their bones. The soldiers, many of whom were farmers and laborers, were unprepared for the severity of the winter. Their shelters, hastily constructed log huts, provided little protection from the elements. Snow blanketed the ground, and the winds whistled through the camp, a constant reminder of nature's indifference to their struggle. Supplies were meager, and food was often in short supply. The men subsisted on rations of fire cake, a simple mixture of flour and water. Meat and fresh produce were luxuries rarely seen. Despite these hardships, Washington remained a steadfast leader. His presence was a beacon of hope to the weary soldiers. He understood the importance of morale and worked tirelessly to maintain it. Washington's leadership style was one of quiet strength. He walked among his men, sharing in their hardships, offering words of encouragement. His presence alone was a source of comfort. The soldiers respected him deeply, seeing in him a man who embodied the ideals for which they fought. Amidst the adversity, a transformation began to take shape. Washington recognized the need for discipline and training. He enlisted the help of Baron Friedrich von Steuben, a Prussian military officer with a wealth of experience. Von Steuben brought with him a rigorous training regimen. His methods were direct and efficient, focusing on drills and discipline. Slowly, the ragtag group of soldiers began to coalesce into a more formidable force. The drills, though repetitive, instilled a sense of unity and purpose. The men learned to move as one, to trust in their fellow soldiers and their leaders. The winter months were long, but the spirit of resilience prevailed. Washington's ability to inspire and unite his troops was a testament to his leadership. He understood the importance of not just surviving, but emerging stronger. The transformation at Valley Forge was not just physical, but psychological. The soldiers began to see themselves as part of a greater cause, a force capable of standing against the might of the British Empire. As spring approached, the landscape began to thaw. The harshness of winter gave way to the promise of renewal. The army, once weakened by hunger and cold, emerged from Valley Forge with a newfound strength. They were no longer just a collection of individuals. They were a cohesive unit, ready to face the challenges ahead. The experience at Valley Forge had forged a bond among the soldiers, one that would carry them through the trials of war. The lessons learned during that winter would prove invaluable in the battles to come. Washington's leadership, characterized by empathy and resilience, became a defining feature of the American struggle for independence. Valley Forge was more than just a winter encampment. It was a crucible of transformation. The soldiers who endured its trials emerged as a testament to the power of perseverance. They carried with them the spirit of their leader, a spirit that would inspire generations to come. As we close our eyes tonight, let us remember the quiet strength of those who endured the winter at Valley Forge. Their story is one of hope and endurance, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can prevail. Let the gentle whispers of history guide you into a peaceful slumber, knowing that resilience and courage are timeless companions. As spring whispered its promise across the landscape, the snow began to melt, revealing the muddy ground beneath. The harsh winter had left its mark, but with it came the renewal of hope. The men at Valley Forge, once weary and worn, now stood with a newfound resolve. Their ranks, thinned by hardship, were bolstered by a sense of camaraderie forged in adversity. The air was filled with the sounds of preparation, a symphony of hammers and voices, as they readied themselves for the challenges ahead. Washington, ever vigilant, walked among his men, offering words of encouragement. His presence was a beacon of steady determination. The soldiers who had once questioned their fate now looked to him with trust. The transformation was palpable. Training continued under the watchful eye of Baron von Steuben, whose methods instilled discipline and confidence. The drills, repetitive and rigorous, became a rhythm that unified the men. Each step, each maneuver, was a step away from the chaos of the past and toward a future they could shape. As the days grew longer and the sun warmed the earth, supplies began to flow more freely. The Continental Congress, spurred by the plight of the soldiers, had redoubled its efforts. Wagons arrived with food, clothing, and ammunition, each delivery a lifeline that strengthened their resolve. The camp, once a place of despair, now buzzed with activity and purpose. Gardens were planted, and the promise of fresh produce brought a sense of normalcy to their lives. The scent of spring mingled with the smoke of campfires, a reminder that life continued, even amid war. Letters from home arrived, bringing news and comfort from loved ones. These missives, cherished and read by flickering candlelight, connected the soldiers to the world beyond the encampment. Each word was a bridge to the lives they had left behind, a reminder of what they fought for. The bonds of family and friendship were threads woven into the fabric of their determination. In quiet moments, they would gather and share stories, laughter echoing through the tents as they found solace in each other's company. The transformation at Valley Forge was not only physical, but also strategic. Washington and his officers spent countless hours in discussion, planning the next moves in their fight for independence. Maps were spread across tables, and decisions were made with care and foresight. The lessons learned during the winter would guide them, shaping a strategy that was both bold and cautious. The British, confident in their superiority, would soon face an army reborn, ready to challenge their hold. As the season turned, the army prepared to leave Valley Forge, their spirits lifted by the warmth of spring and the promise of victory. The encampment that had witnessed their darkest days now stood as a testament to their resilience. They marched forward, not as individuals, but as a unified force, bound by the trials they had overcome. Each step was a declaration of their commitment to the cause, a promise to see their struggle through to its end. The story of Valley Forge is not just one of survival, but of renewal. It is a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the human spirit can rise, undaunted and resolute. As we drift into sleep, let us carry with us the echoes of their journey. The quiet strength of those who endured, their courage in the face of adversity, and the hope that carried them forward. In the stillness of the night, may their legacy inspire dreams of perseverance and peace. As the winter snows began to melt, the landscape around Valley Forge transformed. The once barren fields slowly awoke, revealing patches of green. The soldiers, too, emerged from their makeshift shelters, blinking in the soft sunlight. Their faces, weathered by the harsh cold, now bore expressions of determination. The promise of spring brought with it a renewed sense of purpose. General Washington, ever vigilant, walked among his men. His presence was a steadying force, a beacon of resolve. He spoke to them not as a distant leader, but as a fellow soldier, sharing in their trials and triumphs. His words were simple yet profound, instilling in them a belief that their sacrifices were not in vain. The camp buzzed with activity as preparations for the coming campaigns began. Supplies arrived with more frequency, thanks to the tireless efforts of those who understood the importance of their mission. The men worked diligently, repairing weapons and mending uniforms. Each task completed was a step closer to the freedom they so desperately sought. Drills became a daily ritual, instilling discipline and unity among the ranks. Under the guidance of Baron von Steuben, the men learned to move as one, their actions precise and deliberate. The drills were demanding, yet they forged a bond among the soldiers, a shared sense of camaraderie that would carry them through the battles ahead. As the days grew longer and warmer, the camp seemed to breathe with a new life. Laughter could be heard as friendships deepened, stories shared around campfires. These moments of levity were precious, a reminder of the humanity that persisted despite the hardships. They spoke of home, of loved ones waiting, and of the dreams that kept them going. The natural world around them mirrored their journey. Trees that had stood bare and silent now burst forth with blossoms, a testament to the cycle of renewal. Birds returned, filling the air with song, their melodies a gentle reminder of the beauty that endured. The men found solace in these signs, nature's quiet assurance that life would continue. Letters from home arrived with the spring breezes, bringing news and comfort. Each word was cherished, a link to the world beyond the camp. These messages were treasures, carried close to the heart, read and reread until the paper wore thin. They spoke of hope, of prayers for safety, and of faith in the cause for which they fought. As the season unfolded, the men of Valley Forge stood ready. Their bodies, once frail from hunger and cold, now bore the strength of their resolve. Their spirits, once shadowed by despair, now shone with a quiet confidence. They were no longer just soldiers, they were a brotherhood, united in purpose and in spirit. The lessons learned at Valley Forge would guide them in the days ahead. The resilience they had discovered within themselves was a gift, one that would serve them well in the battles to come. It was a strength born of necessity, tempered by hardship, and honed by unwavering belief in their cause. As evening fell, the camp settled into a peaceful calm. The sky above, painted with the hues of dusk, seemed to embrace the weary soldiers. Stars began to appear, tiny beacons of light in the vastness, each one a silent witness to their journey. The men lay down to rest, their dreams filled with visions of victory and peace. In the quiet of the night, Valley Forge stood as a monument to their endurance. It was a place where hope had been rekindled, where courage had been tested and proven. The legacy of those who had endured would echo through the ages, a testament to the power of the human spirit. As we drift further into sleep, let us carry with us the story of Valley Forge, a story of transformation, of strength discovered in the depths of adversity, and of a shared dream that bound them together. May their courage inspire us, their resilience guide us, and their hope light our way. In the gentle embrace of night, let us find peace, knowing that even in the darkest times, the dawn will come, bringing with it the promise of a new day. Beyond the cold fields of Valley Forge, another chapter of history quietly unfolded. In the heart of the American Revolution, whispers of change began to stir in distant lands. Across the Atlantic, the Enlightenment was shaping minds and igniting ideas. Philosophers and thinkers gathered in salons, their discussions weaving a tapestry of new thoughts and possibilities. These ideas crossed oceans, carried by the winds of change, reaching the shores of a young nation. In the quiet corners of libraries and meeting halls, they found fertile ground. In the bustling streets of Philadelphia, the spirit of enlightenment took root. The city, alive with the hum of commerce and conversation, became a hub for revolutionary thought. Here, the Founding Fathers met, their minds alight with visions of liberty and democracy. They debated and discussed, crafting the framework of a new nation. Their words, penned carefully on parchment, would become the bedrock of a country built on the principles of freedom and justice. Meanwhile, in the countryside, farmers tended to their fields, their lives intertwined with the rhythms of the land. They were the backbone of the young republic, their toil and labor providing sustenance and stability. These men and women, though far from the halls of power, shared in the dream of a better future. They gathered around hearths, sharing stories and hopes, their hearts bound by a common purpose. As the seasons turned, so too did the tides of war. Battles were fought and won, each victory bringing the promise of peace closer. In the midst of conflict, alliances were forged, uniting disparate colonies into a cohesive whole. The French, inspired by the same ideals of liberty, joined the fight, their support tipping the scales in favor of the revolutionaries. Together, they stood resolute, their determination unwavering in the face of adversity. In the South, the war took on a different character. The landscape, with its dense forests and swamps, offered both challenge and opportunity. Here, the struggle was fierce, the battles hard-fought. Yet, amidst the chaos, stories of heroism emerged. Men and women, driven by a desire for freedom, took up arms, their courage shining brightly in the darkest of times. Their sacrifices, though often unsung, were pivotal in the quest for independence. As the conflict drew to a close, a new dawn began to break. The Treaty of Paris, signed in 1783, marked the end of the war. It was a moment of triumph, a testament to the resilience and determination of those who had fought for freedom. The world watched as a new nation emerged, its future uncertain yet full of promise. The United States of America, born from the ashes of revolution, stood poised on the brink of a new era. In the years that followed, the young nation faced challenges and opportunities. The task of governance lay ahead, a monumental undertaking that required wisdom and foresight. The Constitution, crafted with care and deliberation, provided a framework for this new government. It was a living document, designed to evolve and adapt, reflecting the changing needs and aspirations of its people. In the quiet of the night, as the stars twinkled overhead, the people of this new nation looked to the future with hope. They were united by a shared vision, a belief in the power of democracy and the promise of a better tomorrow. Their journey was just beginning, a journey that would shape the course of history. As we drift deeper into slumber, let us carry with us the story of these early years. A story of courage and conviction, of dreams realized and challenges overcome. May it inspire us to seek our own paths, to embrace the possibilities of the future with open hearts and minds. In the stillness of the night, let us find comfort in the knowledge that we are part of a larger story, one that continues to unfold with each passing day. As dawn broke over the fledgling nation, a gentle light spread across the landscape, revealing fields that stretched into the horizon. Farmers rose with the sun, their days governed by the rhythms of the earth. The air was crisp and filled with the scent of dew-kissed grass. In small towns, shopkeepers opened their doors, greeting neighbors with nods and smiles. Life moved with a steady, unhurried pace, each day a new chapter in the unfolding story of this land. In the heart of the capital, the halls of government were alive with the hum of activity. Leaders gathered, their discussions echoing through corridors lined with portraits of visionaries. They debated and deliberated, their words weaving the fabric of a nation. Each decision, a thread in the tapestry of democracy they were determined to create. Outside, citizens gathered in public squares, their voices joining in spirited discourse. Ideas flowed freely, a testament to the freedom they cherished. The nation's first leaders faced challenges that tested their resolve. They navigated the delicate balance of unity and diversity, striving to build a society where all could thrive. In the north, the rugged mountains stood as silent witnesses to the struggles and triumphs of those who called them home. In the south, rivers meandered through fertile valleys, nurturing communities that grew stronger with each passing season. In the midst of this burgeoning nation, the arts flourished. Writers and poets captured the essence of the time, their words resonating with the hopes and dreams of a people. Musicians composed melodies that filled the air with joy, their tunes echoing through the streets and into the hearts of all who listened. Painters found inspiration in the landscapes and faces that surrounded them, their canvases reflecting the vibrant spirit of the age. Education became a cornerstone of the new society. Schools opened their doors to eager minds, young and old alike. Knowledge was seen as a beacon, guiding the way to a brighter future. Teachers with patience and passion imparted wisdom that would shape generations to come. Libraries became sanctuaries of learning, filled with the whispers of countless stories waiting to be discovered. As the nation grew, so too did its connections with the wider world. Ships sailed from bustling ports, their sails billowing in the wind. They carried goods and ideas across oceans, forging bonds with distant lands. Diplomats engaged in conversations that transcended borders, seeking peace and prosperity through mutual understanding. The world watched as this young nation carved its place on the global stage. In the countryside, families gathered around hearths as evening shadows lengthened. Stories were shared, passed down from one generation to the next, tales of ancestors, of journeys taken and challenges faced. These stories, woven into the fabric of everyday life, provided a sense of belonging and continuity. They reminded all who listened of the strength found in unity and the power of a shared past. Seasons changed, marking the passage of time. Spring brought new life, with blossoms painting the land in vibrant hues. Summer's warmth invited laughter and gatherings beneath open skies. Autumn's golden glow signaled a time of harvest, a celebration of abundance and hard work. Winter wrapped the nation in a quiet embrace, a a time for reflection and renewal. Through it all, the spirit of the people remained steadfast. They were guided by a belief in the possibilities of tomorrow, a commitment to building a future that honored their past. Their journey, though marked by challenges, was one of perseverance and hope. It was a journey that would continue, shaping the lives of those who followed. As night fell once more, the stars returned to their watchful vigil. The nation slept, cradled in the dreams of its people, dreams of peace and progress, of a world where all could find their place. In the quiet of the night, the story continued to unfold, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. And so, as we drift into slumber, let us carry with us the echoes of this story, a story of a nation born from hope, nurtured by determination, and destined for greatness. May it inspire us to dream, to believe, and to embrace the possibilities of our own journeys. In the gentle embrace of the night, the landscape lay still, a silent witness to the passage of time. The moon cast its soft glow over fields and forests, illuminating paths once traveled by countless souls. These paths, etched into the earth by the footsteps of those who came before, told tales of migration and settlement, of discovery and resilience. Each step was a chapter, each journey a testament to the enduring quest for a place to call home. The rivers, winding through the land like veins of silver, murmured softly in the darkness. They remembered the canoes that once glided over their surfaces, carrying families and their hopes toward new beginnings. The water's gentle flow spoke of trade and communication, of connections forged between distant communities. These waterways were lifelines, binding together disparate peoples in a shared destiny. In the heart of the land, the forests stood tall and ancient, their branches whispering secrets to the wind. They had seen the rise and fall of civilizations, the ebb and flow of human endeavor. Beneath their canopy, the earth held the remnants of those who had come and gone, their stories written in the soil and stone. The trees, steadfast and silent, bore witness to the cycles of life and the unending march of time. As the night deepened, the stars twinkled above, a celestial map guiding travelers through the darkness. For generations, they had been navigators, leading explorers across uncharted territories. Their constellations were stories in themselves, woven into the fabric of culture and lore. To look upon them was to glimpse the dreams and aspirations of those who dared to venture beyond the horizon. In villages and towns, the hearths glowed warmly, casting flickering shadows on walls that had seen the passage of countless days. Within these homes, families gathered, their bonds strengthened by shared experiences and common goals. They spoke of the past, of ancestors whose sacrifices had paved the way for the present. They dreamed of the future, envisioning a world where their children could thrive and flourish. The land, with its rolling hills and fertile plains, was a canvas upon which the story of a nation was painted. It was a story of struggle and triumph, of adversity met with courage and resolve. The people who inhabited this land were as diverse as the landscapes they called home, yet they were united by a shared vision. A vision of a society where freedom and opportunity were not just ideals, but realities for all. In the quiet of the night, the echoes of this vision resonated through the air. They spoke of leaders who had risen to the occasion, guiding their people with wisdom and compassion. They spoke of ordinary individuals who, through acts of kindness and bravery, had made extraordinary contributions. These echoes were reminders that history was not merely the domain of the famous, but the collective story of all who had walked this earth. As the first light of dawn began to touch the horizon, the world stirred gently from its slumber. The birds, heralds of the new day, sang their morning songs, filling the air with melodies of hope and renewal. The sun, rising slowly, cast its golden rays across the land, illuminating the path forward. It was a new day, a new chapter in the ongoing story of a nation and its people. With each sunrise, the promise of progress beckoned, urging all to continue the journey with open hearts and determined spirits. The challenges of the past were stepping stones, lessons learned that would guide the way to a brighter future. In the light of the morning, the dreams of the night took shape, becoming plans and actions, each step a building block in the grand tapestry of history. And so, as we lay our heads to rest once more, let us remember the stories of those who came before. Let us honor their legacy by carrying forward their dreams, by nurturing the seeds of hope they planted. In the calm of the night, may we find peace in the knowledge that we are part of something greater, a continuum of life and history that stretches beyond the horizon. In this quiet reflection, let us hold close the belief that the journey is far from over, that with each dawn, new opportunities arise, new stories begin. As we close our eyes, may we be inspired to dream boldly, to live with purpose, and to embrace the endless possibilities that await us. For in the heart of every night lies the promise of a new day, and in the heart of every dream, the potential for greatness.